Welcome to Trauma Mamas, the podcast where laughter meets healing. I'm your host, Amber, and here we dive into the raw, real stories of incredible women who've faced trauma, found their strength, and now are ready to share their journey with humor, heart, and hope. Every episode is a celebration of resilience because, yes, you can heal, you can laugh, and you can rise. So grab your coffee or something stronger if you prefer, get comfy, and let's talk about it. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Trauma Mamas. I'm your host, Amber, and today I have a very special guest with me. This is Kenzie. She is the greatest of all time. She is my hero, and she has, been in our life for
Since 2022.
Yeah, it's been a long time. She started out as babysitting our daughter, and then now she's a very close family friend, and she just went through something traumatic and she overcame it. And so today's episode, we're going to talk about her diagnosis with cancer and how she got through it and how her journey was. So can you take me back to the first moment that you were diagnosed? Like, what was going through your head?
Lots of things. Oh, Lord. I was in Athens at the time because I was going to school. Everything was super normal until it wasn't. And I had gone into an urgent care to see what was up. Fast forward a few days, I was in this cancer center with a new oncologist, a new place.
Oh, gosh.
I was with my parents, thank goodness, but bless them. But I didn't know what to expect, of course. I was like, okay, well, I don't have any family history of this. Like, I've never dealt with anything like this before. So, I was kind of happy-go-lucky going in, a little scared. And the oncologist was just like, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you have cancer. She described everything. And my first thought, of course, would be what anybody would think, like, how the heck did this happen?
Right.
I take care of myself. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs.
Right.
I don't do anything that would cause.
And I can attest to
that.
it.
Yeah.
She's been to many of our family gatherings and has not drank.
So I was just confused, so many emotions, thinking what's next? What is this going to do to my lifestyle, my school? Because school is very important to me. Mm-hmm. But the first thing going through my mind was, how does this happen? You always think like, oh, cancer will never happen to me. Never happen. And it doesn't happen until it does.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was just shock, sadness, like all these emotions. Just, I could not even process at that point.
I can only imagine. What were your symptoms? Like, what made you decide to go to the urgent care and seek out help?
Yeah, so I had developed like some pain in my chest, like kind of like near my armpit and, where my rib cage is. Uh-huh. And I've never had chest pain in my life. I don't have heart problems, none of that. And I started developing like a cough. When I breathe really deeply, I would have some pain there. And I was like, okay, this is not normal. And it kept getting worse. And I went into the urgent care and I was like, hey, I think I have pleurisy, which is like a rupture in the pleural space in your lung, like the side of your lung.
Yeah.
And that's actually what I did have, but we didn't know it was caused by a mass in my chest that was like 15 centimeters, I think, at first. I know it was huge.
Oh my gosh.
More long ways than like outwards, because you could not see anything. Like, you would never know it was there.
Oh my Lord.
I also had some weight loss, some appetite changes, some mood change, like just random stuff. I had like Charlie horses in my legs all the time. It was insane. But the main thing was the chest pain, the coughing, and that's just what I went in for. I was like, oh, they'll probably just prescribe me some antibiotics and send me on my way. And thank God they didn't, because who knows where we would be now.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, those were the symptoms that got me where I was.
And then the urgent care, when they did blood work, I assume, or
so they did an EKG at first, and I was tachycardic, which is a fancy word for high heart rate. Mm-hmm. And then X-ray, and they found it and sent me straight to the emergency room.
Oh, they saw it in the X-ray. Mm-hmm. Wow. So were you with your family at that time at the urgent care?
No,
How did you tell them?
I was alone.
Oh gosh.
I know. I was alone, and I called my mom and I was like, hey, I have to go to the ER. I've never been to the ER in my life. And I was like, hey, so I kind of sort of have to go to the ER. What should I do? I was freaking out. And she's like, okay, well, I'll be there as soon as I can. Mind you, this is 2 hours away. Woodstock to Athens, 2 hours. So
Yeah.
she was like packing her stuff and heading my way as soon as she could.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually called up my roommate, my old roommate, and I was like, hey, can you like drive me to the emergency room? I don't think I can drive there, like with all this going on.
Oh, yeah. Emotions are heightened.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to crash on the way there.
Right, yeah.
Give them another reason to treat me, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, but I called up my roommate, bless her. She was at the ER with me for like 7 hours.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, shout out to Anna Esquerdo if you're watching this after we record it. If
Yeah.
you're watching this. She's my rock star.
That's awesome.
But yeah, my family was not there. I was flying solo.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the emotions and everything that was going through your head.
I was a nervous wreck.
So
One would be.
yeah, I can only imagine. So what kind of treatment did you undergo, and, how did it affect your day-to-day life?
Yeah, so the day that I was diagnosed, they actually wanted to get me into the hospital that night, but they didn't have any beds. So I literally started treatment the day after I was diagnosed. So they were like, everything was stat, like this is an aggressive cancer is what I was told. So they were like, go, 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 all engines running, stat, everything. So I went through 6 rounds of chemotherapy. It's called R-EPOCH, and all of those letters stand for a different medication that I'm given. And it's paired with steroids as well. So I was constantly taking medications or getting infusions or something.
Right.
And they also gave me saline to like flush everything out and kind of help keep me hydrated. And then after each round, I was given a white blood cell shot to like boost my levels back up. I would get blood work, all that good stuff. But yeah, it was 6 months of chemo, which is
I can only imagine how
yeah.
grueling and hard that has to be on your body. And
it's very, yeah.
and just
yeah.
how you were at school one day and then you end up in the
In
hospital.
the ER the next.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how did they find out, or how long did it take them to find out what type of cancer it was?
We were on pins and needles for like a week or so. So I had to get like a needle biopsy. They just went in, took a sample, sent it off to the lab, and they're like, oh, we'll have it back in like 5 business days. Well, it turned out like a bit more than that. We were waiting for a while, way longer than we should have. But they had to go into like the molecular level of like go really deep into it to like make sure that was it, because that, you don't want to mistreat something like that, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took a while, but they just sent off a sample, waited and waited and waited. And that's when I ended up in the cancer center where they told me. So, yeah.
And I know that waiting part is like, that's hard. It's so hard for you to be like, you're like waiting by the phone, and anytime somebody calls, it's like, and it's not that you're like, you're like, dang it, I'm trying to get an answer.
Oh yeah.
So did any of this like create any unexpected challenges, like with your chemo? Did you have, I mean, obviously I know that, you had beautiful long hair whenever we first met, and so
like,
yeah, your hair was always so beautiful and still is, but
yeah, my little puff,
it looks so cute. So any other, like, I'm sure you had other symptoms that were grueling on your body as far as the chemo treatment went.
Yeah, so I dealt with some nausea. After each of the white blood cell shots, I had some like back pain, muscle pain, bone pain, all of that stuff. That was pretty grueling the first few rounds. And obviously the whole emotional toll of everything. I have always been a very happy person. I still am, don't get me wrong, but during chemo, I was on antidepressants, I'll be honest. Like, a lot of people don't talk about that. I'm on antidepressants, but I needed it for that.
Yeah, no, I could
there
only
was
imagine.
so many things going on at once.
Yeah.
Getting news after news, sometimes good, sometimes bad. Getting your blood drawn all the time. All the sights and smells of the hospital are just bring it back for some people, and just they can't handle it. So I was on that. I had some blood pressure and some heart rate problems as well. So there were a lot of changes, physically, emotionally, psychologically, just everything. Lots of changes, style, everything.
Yeah, I definitely would understand. And especially, you know, being on antidepressants, there's nothing wrong with it if you've got issues and you get treatment. And, you know, with what you went through, I can only imagine that the toll that took on you emotionally and your family. And like you said, you were always have been happy-go-lucky, and even during all of this, you were still showing up for our family events and there for us. And I just appreciate you always being there for us. And so, you know, learning that was heartbreaking for me and for us. We were like, oh my gosh, our Kinsey, oh my God. Are you okay? Like, oh my gosh. Was there like any particular moment where you felt like you just kind of wanted to give up, or was there ever a moment where you felt like, I don't think I can get through this?
At the beginning, they told me, and science has come a long way with this, but they told me that I had a 97% survival rate for what I had with the treatment, you know, everything going right. But, you know, a part of you is always like, okay, what if I'm that 3%?
3%. Yeah.
What if it's too late? What, you know, because I was already in stage 2, knocking on stage 3, because this is very fast growing, this is very aggressive. And, you know, you're thinking, what if I'm that 3%? What if something else goes wrong? Like, what if I get really sick with something else? Like,
Right.
you know, COVID's still going around and, you know, all that stuff. But once I started getting treatment, once I, you know, trusted my doctors and all of that, I had no doubts. I mean, I was pretty headstrong through everything, like just trying to motivate myself as much as I could. And thankful for, you know, my friends, family, my support system for that. But it was just that initial thought of like, okay, what if I'm that 3%? You know, what if I'm that anomaly as to what if I don't make it?
Right.
You know? And you start to cherish everything very deeply at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure your perspective on life is changed for sure. But 97% is very good.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to a lot of the cancers out there. So that, you know, very grateful that you were part of that 97%.
Yes.
So I know we kind of talked about your friend, your roommate and your family being there, but who was or what was your biggest support system through all of this?
I think this is just kind of the canned answer here, but my family, I mean, they stick through it. My dad is very, he's also very headstrong. There's not a negative bone in that man's body. He's always like, okay, well, I understand you're frustrated. I understand you're sad, but, you know, don't waste your time being sad. You know, you got to just keep going. He's very, he, in his past life, he was a motivational speaker, y'all. Like Chris Barden, everyone. He, in his past life, was a motivational speaker, I swear. So I think to shout out him, he was a great support system. My mom, God bless her soul, she was with me through a lot of the treatments, like just watching and, you know, making sure everything was going good. We'd sleep over at the hospital when I was there. So both of them were very much like the dream team for going through something like this.
That's awesome. So. You definitely need headstrong as your support system to get through something like that.
Yes.
So, okay, so we'll move on to your remission. What was it like to hear those words?
It was like nothing I've ever experienced. And the day that we went in, that I heard about it, we had no idea that we were going to get these results that fast. Because I had to get a scan and another biopsy to make sure everything was, you know, dead material. It was, the cells were dead.
Right.
So we weren't expecting this news. So that kind of made it sweeter, you know, that you weren't expecting it. But that feeling of knowing that it's gone, like I've beat this, is just beyond words. It was the most special day ever. I think we went out to dinner that night. Like we were like celebrating big time.
Did you got to ring the bell?
Yes.
That's awesome.
I got to ring the bell. I did this special thing with my friends that I did like a group FaceTime. So I invited all my friends to join and they could see it live, and I got the video. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it was a big party there.
Yeah. I'm happy that you did that. That's really cool.
Very special.
Did this change your perspective on life? I know we kind of talked about how it just kind of brought everything to light, but since you've been in remission, has it still changed your perspective on life? And
definitely. Yeah. And before, it's not like I was this like grumpy, living under our, I was living life. I would do all that I could at school, volunteering and being a part of this, that, and the other. I have my best life before, and I still do.
Yeah.
But you truly don't know what you've got until it's gone.
Yes.
For a little while, because I think one thing that comes to mind here is before I was always like kind of awkward about hugging my friends. I was like, do they want a hug? Is that too much? And now, and like during treatment, I was like quarantined for like 6 months. So I couldn't like touch.
Because your immune system is lowered.
It was shot. Like my immune system was
non-existent.
Nothing. Yeah. So I couldn't hug anybody. Like I couldn't like show any kind of affection that way. So I think now I'm like hugs all around. Yeah.
Right, like I don't care if you want to hug or not. You're getting
you're getting a hug. So yeah, truly you don't know what you've got until it's gone. That's your sign to live life to the fullest, truly, because you don't know. You just don't know.
Right. Happens to the most unexpected because you're you're still very young.
21 years old.
Yeah. For something crazy like that to happen. So they told you what stage it was in, or and they told you that when you were at the cancer center. And
yeah. So they told me it was stage 2. And like I said before, it's very fast growing. So it was on its way to stage 3. So I caught it very at the right time. I mean, obviously when you find that out, you're like, oh man, I wish I would have caught that sooner. But there was no way for me to know that.
No, because you're like you said, your symptoms were
very weird.
They're completely different than your brain,
Yeah.
So for everyone here, what was exactly the type of cancer that you had?
Yeah, so it's a mouthful. I call it PMBCL for short, but it's primary mediastinal B-cell lymphoma. So you can kind of break it down. There's 2 types of blood cancers. There's lymphoma and leukemia. Leukemia is more so like smaller children. They're usually kind of born with a strand that, morphs into leukemia. Lymphoma is a little bit different. And then that goes into Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's. I had a non-Hodgkin's type. Hodgkin's is more rare. And then it breaks down into B-cell and T-cell. T-cell is more rare. I had B-cell. So thankfully that was a little bit more.
Yeah.
It was a little bit easier to treat as to what kind it was. That's what they said initially. They were like, we're glad we don't have T-cell because that would have been a little bit trickier.
Yeah.
So mouthful of a diagnosis. I had to get her to repeat, like, girl, write that down.
Write that down.
Write that down because, and it is actually, it's a rare type. It only accounts for 2 to 4% of non-Hodgkin cases.
That is insane.
Yeah.
And you, as a 21-year-old,
yes,
yes, that's even more rare. I feel like is somebody it's such as young as you are, and I've had close friend pass away with cancer, and it's just, to me, I guess like the feeling for me when I see people I care about and I love go through something like that, I'm like, it's just not fair. It's not fair.
Cancer does not care who you are, what kind of person you are.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things that just, it's evil. It's a monster. And it's, people should be rightfully frustrated with it.
Right. Yeah. Definitely lots of emotions, I'm sure.
What emotion in the book?
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. So do you ever worry about it, a reoccurrence, or I'm sure that's got to be in the back of your head, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that was one of my thoughts, not my initial thought, but one that came kind of later, like, okay, what if I get through this? What if I beat this and it comes back? But thankfully the type that I have, lymphoma, and with the treatment that I got, the treatment kind of like melts away is what they called it, like the cells. And the thing with lymphoma is it does not come back. So
thank God.
Yes, that doesn't come back. It's leukemia that can come back. So I have a friend that had leukemia when she was like 3-ish years old, and within like I think she said like a 5-year time span is when it can come back. So leukemia is the one that can come back. Lymphoma,
so like
when it's done.
So you have to, like for the next 5 years, you have to keep an eye on.
For leukemia.
Yeah.
For leukemia, that one can come back within 5 years. You're very closely monitoring it. I mean, I still get monitored. I still get scans. I still get blood work.
How often?
Keep tabs. So let's see, I actually had a CT scan yesterday,
Oh, wow.
but they do that and PET scans to just make sure. But I think it started out like every 3 months, then it went to every 6 months, then it goes to every year, and then, I'll have to get scanned for the rest of my life just to make sure. But yeah, they space it out to where it's not like you're not constantly getting scanned and buzzed with all that.
Yeah. Now, did you have to have a port put in or anything?
Yeah, I have a chest port, and again, shout out to science on this one, because some people have to have it through their arm, and they said that the type of chemo that I got would like burn my veins, and I was like,
yeah, don't want that to happen.
no. So yes, I have a chest port. It's very interesting how it works. It's beneath the skin, so it's very much like it's pretty incognito. Like, yeah, I'm very fair skinned. So you can see it a little bit more, but it's very interesting.
That's what happened
really
with me when I had my port put in. It was like transparent. It was like, because I have like, I'm so pale, and then I could see it. It was like bulging out. But I ended up having to do so they took out the port, and so now I have a central line. So it's an external catheter that runs in. So I have 2 lumens that hang down. And then I just connect to the IV fluids. But I did have a port in the beginning, and for me, it wasn't comfortable at all, especially when it was accessed, because I would have to keep it accessed for a week at a time.
Gosh,
and that like sleeping, because I'm a stomach sleeper, that was uncomfortable. Yeah, so since I've gotten this in, it's been a lot easier. But how long do you keep your port in for?
So I did ask about that. It doesn't bother me too much, but sometimes if I accidentally scratch it, I'm like, ooh, like I kind of cringe a little bit. But I asked them about it, and they said, it's more of a superstitious thing of, if you get it out,
then it comes back.
So I'm gonna keep it in until I get at least a few more clean scans and just make super duper sure. Because like I said, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't cause me any pain. But I do have to get it flushed out every 3 months to make sure it's clean, make sure it's working, functioning, no clots or anything.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just gonna keep it in for a little bit longer, just
on the
for superstitious reasons.
Right.
I believe in some of that stuff, and I don't want to get caught on the bad end of that. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, are there any myths or misconceptions about cancer that you wish more people understood?
Yeah, so a lot of people do understand cancer is not contagious. Just to reiterate, it's not contagious. It's not like strep. It's not like COVID. It's very much different. But one misconception that I do remember hearing, one of our family friends was saying, they were asking about, what I was going through, the chemotherapy, and they had thought it was just one chemotherapy session, and that was it. They were like, "It's okay, so it's gone after that?" And I was like,
"No,
I wish.
If only it worked.
If only, yes,
yeah."
But I had to do 6 rounds, 6 months, every 3 weeks, which is pretty much once a month if you look at it. Some people have to go through 12 rounds. Some people have to go through, if they relapse, they have to go through more. Radiation, all that stuff. But no, it is not a one and done. I wish it was. Maybe one day. 6 rounds for me.
Yeah, that's got to be tough.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give someone out there that's just been diagnosed with cancer?
I would say surround yourself, with your friends, with your family. Don't turn into a ghost. It's very easy to do that. It's very easy to kind of crawl up into a ball and just get through it willy-nilly and not seek anything. And like I said, with the antidepressants and like therapeutic practices, seeing therapists, reaching out to people, don't have shame in that. It's not, and like, oh, it's embarrassing. No, it's not embarrassing. If you need help, reach out for help, get help. But that's definitely something I would say is reach out. It might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but you're going to thank yourself later if you just reach out to somebody.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I can relate to that, because I feel like a lot of times with my medical journey and stuff, I just wanted to just kind of disappear and like exclude myself from the outside world, because I was just like wallowing in self-pity, where it was just like, why is this happening to me? But
it's a very easy question to ask, is why is this? I've asked that question many a times. You're probably not going to find the answer. You're just,
Yeah, but I truly believe that having a positive attitude
Oh.
and just making sure that you stay positive and you're not just kind of giving up on yourself. I
Right.
feel like those
That's
are the
huge.
people that
That's
get
huge.
through it and can fight it off. And I think it helps because once you just kind of give up, I feel like then that's when the cancer is just like, I'm going to take over this body.
Yep.
So how can listeners support someone in their life who may be going through a similar battle? Like what would you recommend for somebody that is trying to be there for somebody who has cancer?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I would say, it's nice to reach out just in general. How can I help? What can I do? That's kind of like your canned answer as to like, what can I do? And sometimes the people don't have an answer for that. That's the thing.
Right.
It's a great gesture. I know I appreciated it. But I would say reach out and say, hey, you want to FaceTime sometime? Or, hey, is there a dinner that I can cook for you? Is there like, is there something I can send you? Or, you want to play a game online? Just try to include somebody, because I know I already have FOMO, fear of missing out, but I have some huge FOMO.
I can imagine for 6 months being quarantined.
Oh
it's like COVID all over again.
Oh gosh, yes. When I was coming out of it, I was like, am I like awkward now? Like, how do I like talk to people? Like, it was like a whole rerun of how do I life? How do I do life?
Yes. How do I life?
Goodness.
I like that. How do I life after this?
Yes.
So what's next for you on your journey? Like, I know you said you wanted to go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still working, or are you going to go back to work? And I know you loved working with kids and wanting to be there during those camps and stuff, but are you able to go back to doing that, or?
Yeah, so I'm going back to school. I go to UGA. I am a senior now. Yay. A speech therapy major. And so I'll be going back full time, as normal as it can be. I'm dog sitting and nannying right now. So I'm making a little bit of summer money, not just rotting away on the couch or something. But yes, I fully plan to get back to what I was doing before. No restrictions. So I'm very excited for that. Coming August, I will be back at school.
Yay! I have to hate on your school choice. Yeah.
Go Dogs, but not in this house.
No, we don't do that. We say Roll Tide here, or Go Knowles.
Yes. Okay.
My husband.
Get onto that. I can get on board for that.
Right. Yeah. But so, I wouldn't expect anything less than you going back full throttle. With you and
Barrel
yourself.
back.
Yeah,
yes.
I wouldn't expect less of you for that. And is there anything like a belief that you carried, or a mantra, something that kind of still guides you today, that got you through everything?
Yeah, that's a good question too. This is kind of more silly, but it works. But when I first found out, I was talking to my roommates and I was trying to think of the same thing. Like, what's going to be my mantra? What's going to be like my tagline, my hashtag. But I remember my dad and how he's super chill. He's very motivational. But one thing that I carried through was cool as a cucumber. Just be cool. Just kind of, don't get too uptight about this, just coast. But I just kind of carried a mindset of just stay strong. I know this is hard, but you're going to come out on the other end of this even stronger. But cool as a cucumber is the one that I stuck with. It's I love that. Very silly. But that totally works.
Yeah, that works for you. I mean, that's awesome. Incredibly proud of you, of everything that you've gone through. And yes, we love and adore you. And, is there anything that you feel like the listeners should know that we missed, or anything that you would?
I don't know. I think we covered a good bit. We covered like the kind of the beginning, during, after. But I will say cancer is not a death sentence. It is very much portrayed as that. It's portrayed as, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, oh, that's like, it's very negatively portrayed. So, and there's
I
a
agree with that.
commercial, there's some kind of like radio commercial. I don't know what it's for, but there's the lady that says cancer is a death sentence. And I just hate it. I turn it right off every single time
You're
because
like,
it's not. I'm living proof that it's not.
No, it really isn't.
I have a friend that also, she got through Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is more rare.
Yeah.
When concerning the non-Hodgkin's, but it's not a death sentence. Promise you that.
Absolutely.
Living proof, right?
Yeah, you're a living testament right here.
Yes, exactly.
So yes, I'm very glad that you came on to share your story,
Yeah.
and I can't thank you enough. You know, if anybody out there has a story that could relate to her or just some advice, that just make sure to follow and listen and write down your comments. And thank you guys so much. Have a good day.
Be like a short angle if you did it straight on.
Ready?
Ready.